All right, MMA Maniacs, it's time once again for your weekly MMA podcast called Split Decision, brought to you from the Ruloff Family Inc. Studios. Bueller and Dodge, joined today by Rich Treas from Cagebound Fighting Championships, the new cruiserweight champion, right?
The
original, the first cruiserweight champion for Cagebound Fighting Championships, fought just this last Saturday, which took place right here in the Central Valley in Modesto at the Modesto Center Plaza. Thanks for joining us today, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
And we're gonna jump in. We got news. We got fights coming up tomorrow night. We got all kinds of cool stuff happening. But first, let's go ahead and jump into what happened last week right here in the Central Valley with you. You got the performance of the night with your fight.
Yeah, the knockout of the night.
The knockout of the night.
Right.
9 seconds?
Yeah.
Was it 9 seconds in the first round?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It looked like that guy didn't even know why he was there.
He didn't when it was done.
I think he's questioning it now. Yeah, definitely.
He woke up going over groceries like, I need celery. I think I'm out of milk. In an ice pack. That sounds
When's
good.
my fight? I need to cut weight.
So how does it feel, man? This belt, the strap, how does that feel?
Oh, man, that was like...
It's bigger than my belt.
I mean, fighting here in Modesto, I love Modesto to death. I live here. I'm from here. And then having all my my coworkers go and my friends go, getting the knockout, getting it as fast as I did, and then also winning the belt. That's crazy.
Which is terrifying.
Did it feel like work? I mean, you went in there, you knocked him out, and you'd be like, sorry, fans, I wish I could have done more.
Some guys, yeah, you know what? Some guys were like, "Hey, man, you should
get back in there?
I wanted to watch you fight.
I paid $35 for this, man."
Yeah, I wanted to watch you fight. You could have made it a little bit longer. I said, "Well, and what? Risk me being that guy? No, you want to end it as quick as possible."
Yeah, the goal is to get in there and win as fast as possible, which you did. 9 seconds. That's that's nothing to scoff at. That's sniffing right at the UFC record, isn't it?
That's pretty close. Yeah.
And so you're fighting out of Dynamic Mixed Martial Arts, which has a storied history here in Modesto. They started out years and years ago in a very small walkway area over where Long Shopping Center used to be off of Stanford and Sisk, if you're from the area.
Which I don't understand why they don't just go take over Long's, because it's still empty.
They should. Considering
that'd be great.
With the size of the place that they built over by Babies R Us,
right?
And now they're over off of, help me out here, Kiernan? Off of Kiernan. That's where you're training now, right? And they have a full facility there with the cage and bags and just everything you can imagine.
It's a gorgeous gym. You got to check it out.
It really is. I've been down. I've had the pleasure of going there several times for my other job, and you weren't the only one fighting out of Dynamic though. You had some teammates fighting there as well. Right, like Grace, who won her fight.
Grace, yeah, she won hers. That was her first fight, first win, and man, she did great. It was great.
She was supposed to be here today, but she's not feeling well, right?
No. She trained super hard for the fight. It was her first time going out there. She trained her butt off. And you know how it is. Your body can only recover so much.
So fast, yeah.
So she got a little ill, but she wanted to be here, but she said next time.
Now, did she get an of the night? Were you saying, Dennis?
Yeah, her
versus Selma
was
fight of the night.
Fight of the night.
Fight of the night. And then we had Brandon Olson, who got another of the night. Brad Olson?
Brandon.
It says Brandon up. Do you want me to read that? I'm going to read that. Brandon Olson got another of the night. Which of the night did he get? Submission of the night.
Over Conan or Rizuko?
Okay. Is he from your gym too? No. So we won't talk about that guy. But we'll go. Going back to you though, you said you trained. You've done wrestling at MJC in 2004. Is that what you said?
Right. I got out of the Marines in 2004, and I've always loved wrestling. So I did two seasons there, and then I really didn't know what to do. I was thinking about becoming sheriff's deputy. I got hired on at Gallo Glass, and I've been there for 11 years since.
Are you in the hot part of the Gallo Glass?
The hot end.
Yeah. Where you got to wear the long sleeves, otherwise you get the glass in your skin.
Been there 11 years.
Man, I've heard
Does it help you
stories.
lose weight? Like when you have to go cut weight, you just go to work like extra layers?
That's smart though.
Honestly, I've weighed myself before. I've lost 9 pounds one time.
Jesus.
In a 12-hour period.
In a 12-hour shift?
At work, yeah. Not the sauna. Not trying to do it. But
it's 145 to 160 in there, huh?
I when I was working last year, it was super hot. I bought a thermometer. And I was in my work area for 45 minutes, and it was 175 degrees.
I was going to say, I think I heard it top out at 175. So when you lost 9 pounds on a shift, was that with the poop?
I didn't have anything in it.
Just sweated it
so
out.
Dehydrated. I couldn't eat. I couldn't do anything.
You ever been so hot you sweat out of shit? Because it's possible. So the Cruiserweight Championship is something that's kind of new. Like the UFC doesn't have this weight class.
They've talked about it.
They've talked about it. And this is
Yeah, they have.
This is 230, right?
Right, 230.
230,
which is in between light heavy and
so is
heavyweight.
it 205 to 230?
Probably like 207.
Right. There's 205 with light heavyweight, and then cruiser, and then heavyweight.
There you go,
Okay.
yeah.
And
I mean, think about this. These guys like, Randy Couture used to come in at 230, 240 in
Cain
his
Velasquez
heavyweight fights.
fights at like 235.
Yeah,
Kane would make a great cruiserweight at 230. Holy smokes, because he's not a big heavyweight.
Well, no, and when you got a 60-pound differential in the heavyweight, division. I mean, you look at the old days of Pride too, when they had like the super heavyweights and things
Yeah.
like
Right,
that.
yeah.
But having
The juiced out steroid, freaky heavyweights.
the freak show fights that we love, but you got a 60-pound differential here. If we were to separate it, I mean, that would be like we were talking about before the show started. That would make a huge difference in the UFC.
I think so, and honestly,
In all mixed martial arts.
it would also be a lot safer, because there's guys that are fighting in the UFC that are heavyweights in the off season. What, they're 300 pounds?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you got like Lesnar's like 290.
Yeah, you got
298.
you got
You got a
Lesnar, you got
heavyweight.
Carwin, you got Hunt.
Right. Then you got a heavyweight that is 240 naturally all year, doesn't cut. Then he fights a guy that normally weighs 300 pounds.
That's scary.
Getting hit by that's not safe.
That's
You know what I mean?
that's definitely scary.
That's a truck. It's like the guy who called Mark Hunt a pussy on Facebook this week, which was fun to watch.
What
Thanks for
was his
posting that
reply?
video.
Mark Hunt has the best
First he
replies.
thanked Jesus, and then he because he always does that everything. He always thanks Jesus first.
And then he sued him.
Right, yeah.
So training at Dynamic Martial Arts, you've had the opportunity to also train with other people that we know of in the UFC, like you mentioned Josh Koscheck before the
Yeah,
show
I've traded
started.
Josh and Jeff Hoagland, he was in the UFC.
Oh, Hoagland, he went up
Yeah.
to Oregon. At first, Hoagland, the backstory on Hoagland is that he had a shot at the UFC, but because of some previous surgeries, they said he couldn't do it, and then something happened, and he was able to actually fight in the UFC.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
covered a couple of them.
Yeah, we did. No, he
We first started.
He definitely. I don't want to say. I'm going to be wrong here, but I'm going to say something like he has like a plate or something like that in his skull, and at first it was like, no, you can't have that.
Would that be considered cheating, or would that just be dangerous?
It depends if you headbutt or not.
Well, you can't do that anyway.
There's no headbutting, so
Exactly. No,
But, I mean,
then
if Anderson Silva could have a plate in his shin and he's still able to fight, I don't see
Right,
Yeah.
so it must have covered under the
yeah.
same.
So yeah, no, I've known Hoagland for years, and Koscheck I've had the opportunity to meet a few times. But you said training with Koscheck was different than wrestling at MJC, yeah.
He's that guy is something else. He's one of the most powerful human beings I've ever got to train with.
And that's what you get. I mean, I guess his level of wrestling. Though.
Yeah.
For that long, exactly, yeah.
Do we know if he ever got his AKA billboard changed?
He did, because remember when we called back the next time, he's like, yeah, thanks, I want to let you guys know. Thanks,
Oh, yeah,
we got
that's
that
right.
taken care of. He was very upset
You're
about
welcome,
that.
Josh. You're
Now,
very welcome.
They're already setting up another card, CFC, right?
Right.
And you're already on it? You're going to defend your belt?
No, actually, I'm going to fight for the heavyweight belt.
Oh, so you're going to be a 2-belt holder.
Well, no, don't jinx it. I don't like. I'm superstitious.
So you're going for the ability to hold 2 belts.
Yeah, I'm
There we go.
So-
superstitious, and I got to fight for it, and it's up for grabs.
Gotcha,
So okay,
gotcha.
so if you're the cruiserweight champ at 230, what do you walk around at normally?
Oh man, you know what?
When you normally come into my restaurant, what are you walking around at?
Not after you leave his restaurant.
Well, the thing was, I hadn't fought in 3 years.
Oh wow, okay.
So I fought.
You hadn't fought in 3 years. You knocked a guy out in 9 seconds.
Right. It's like riding a bike.
A very dangerous
A
fight.
very dangerous
This
bike.
guy's gonna knock me out sitting next to me.
No, I hadn't fought in I lost the in 2013 I lost the state championships against Josh Powell. We had fought before. He beat me a split decision the year prior. Some people say I won. Well, we fought again for the state championship. I lost another split decision, but the difference between the first and the second was I was thoroughly convinced that I won
The
this one.
state championship. What do you mean?
The Camo State Championship.
Oh, okay, camo. Gotcha.
And I really thought I beat him the second time. And so I was bitter about it. And then I just didn't fight. And then I was kind of partying a lot. I was seeing Brandon a lot at Fumi and getting too much spicy calamari. So I hadn't fought.
A lot of sake bombs.
A lot of sake bombs.
Yeah, and you know what? I was partying.
Real quick, can you beat Dodge in a sake bomb?
I could beat anyone in a sake.
No.
Any.
We got to see this now. I've never seen anybody beat Dodge in a sake bomb.
I mean,
We'll see. Yeah, they're what 99 cents at Umi.
Yeah, we get a sake bomb
plug.
championship belt.
Kevin was working on one.
We'll make it happen. So all right, back to your.
Yeah, so I had fought in 3 years. I was partying a lot and just having fun, spending money, and then, but I wanted to get back in shape eventually and start fighting again and get my black belt. And then I was around 285, and Terrell, from CFC, Powell, excuse me.
lumpy.
We know Terrell.
Still only $20. You don't owe me $20. It's just your nickname. Terrell, you still owe me $20.
Well, he told me about the CFC, and they were going to do an event in Modesto and have me fight main event and for a belt. And I was like,
Motivation.
Sure, why not? I said, you know what? That sounds great. I do want to do that. He said, but it's cruiserweight. And I was like, man, that's 230. So, yeah, I lost, 60 pounds and
Wow.
fought for the cruiserweight championship. And luckily, yeah, I did get that knockout.
So since last Saturday when you won your cruiserweight belt, your 230 belt,
What are you at now?
what are you at right now?
No. I can't believe you guys set me up, man. I can't believe you guys asked that.
All we know is that he's ready to fight for the heavyweight.
Ready to fight for heavyweight.
Yeah, I'm not, yeah, exactly.
If you're
man.
just
He's
tuning in
231. He's 231. He's ready
we'll
to
go
fight
with
for
that
heavyweight.
and a half. We're joined by Rich Treas from the Cagebound Fighting Championship that happened last Saturday right here in Modesto. Won the belt, is the first cruiserweight champion for the organization. You kind of threw me for a loop when you walked upstairs. You were asking about the fish. Are you a big fish guy?
Oh yeah, I used to be all into. I used to consider myself an ichthyologist. Right?
An ichthyologist? Yeah.
Were you that guy from Deuce Bigelow?
No, I was Deuce Bigelow.
Going in for the snails? No, the ones at the bottom.
The ones at the bottom.
Well, here's what we do here, man. We're going to jump into some news if you don't mind coming along with us in this
let's do
journey.
it.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
So we got a fight going down tomorrow night. We're going to jump into that momentarily. But first, of course, we have the news that's going on around the world of mixed martial arts. First up is Mike Goldberg.
Mike Goldberg actually reached out to everybody, said, I wish I could respond to every single fan, fighter, and member of the media who reached out showing their support, gratitude, and appreciation. It's been overwhelming and so gratifying. Thank you, every single UFC, from Ultimate Japan to UFC 207. My primary focus has been two things. First, bring passion, energy, and raw emotion to our fans around the world, dedicated diehard fans like no other. Secondly, to proper represent each and every fighter, from UFC newcomer to veterans, 20-plus octagon battles. Our fighters work so hard and sacrifice so much. It's my responsibility to properly prepare and tell their stories. Tommy Toehold, the video was hilarious. Just for the record, I still believe Anderson's precision is precise. He said an incredible ride in the last 19 years. Of course, he posted Tommy Toehold's video. That was kind of like a big amalgamation of all the things that he said around the octagon.
Video was great. Tommy Toehold did a great job.
Yeah.
I loved his post right there, especially giving a shout out to Tommy Toehold and all the fans. And the precision is precise, which has been like a meme on the Reddit MMA forum forever.
Yeah.
Hate to see him go, man. I still don't understand the reasoning behind it.
I was gonna ask whose idea was this?
It was the WME.
Yeah, the new owners of the
Right.
UFC.
Yeah. And
So rumors again still abound. Who's going to replace him? Obviously, we talked about Jim Rome. I saw a new one today. It might be Manolo Ranallo.
I saw that too.
I saw that today as a rumor. It's not.
well, that'd be a
official.
familiar voice for
And
MMA.
someone that's very well.
And like people have said online, you got to have somebody. You got the Joe Rogan. You got to have somebody who's also willing to read. Brought to you by Budweiser.
Right.
You got to have that guy. And
the middle of
Ronaldo would be
everything.
great for it.
Yeah.
There was the guy who
Now
was.
he's currently working for WWE though. Just
Well,
throwing
so
that
was the
out
guy
there.
who changed his
Back to the
Twitter handle.
rivalry.
Yeah.
Of course, right? The guy who changed his Twitter handle to UFC announcer, who worked for the WWE as well.
Well, he's going to be one covering the UFC Fight Night 102, the one we're getting ready to talk about here a little bit later.
For Anik,
For
right?
at least that one event.
So the question is, does Anik then step up to Goldie's spot? But then that wouldn't fit the dream team.
Yeah, I don't
thing
know.
That Dana White was talking about.
Shaq and Madden.
Shaq and Madden.
Oh Jesus!
His precision is
Yeah.
precise. Yeah.
Boom.
He hit him a lot. Hit him again.
Shaq is currently going to be fighting Big Show at WrestleMania. Just throwing that out there.
Love that. And we also got to hear a great story from Chael Sonnen about Mike Goldberg and the WWE
Yep.
getting offered $100,000 to no show, no call and sabotage an event,
Yep.
which Mike Goldberg didn't take because he was a company man.
That would have been cool.
Yet he still gets walked out the front door.
Still with nothing.
Man. A lot of weird stuff came out with Chael Sonnen over the last week, including why Forrest Griffin still has a job versus people
Because he kept showing up.
because he kept showing up.
Oh, that's
Dana
right,
White
yeah.
says, these other, I gave Chuck a job, I gave Matt a job, and they're like, cool, I'm just going to collect that check and just kind of hang out, and that's why they cut them. Forrest kept showing up to the offices and was like, so what do you got for me today? And they're
Yeah.
like,
Nothing.
nothing.
And then,
Your
you're
job
just-
is to collect this check and shut up.
But he kept coming.
But he kept coming. He just
Like
kept
made
showing
his own workspace. Anybody got a pencil? I'm going to work right here.
Started beating up guys to like move. This is my desk now.
This is my desk now.
Red swing line
Yeah,
stapler.
my
He's pretty much. And then he had started asking people like, hey, can you get me in touch with this person? Because I really want to go to this meeting.
Yeah.
I want to have input
Started
on it."
showing up at meetings and hanging. They're like, "You're not on the agenda." He's like, "I know. I'm just gonna sit."
But how did the company find out? How did they know that he was showing up though?
He's like Milton. Like,
You know,
like
did he have a
Dennis
time card? Like, how did they know?
He starts bringing him in. I haven't been paid for the last month.
said. We just fixed the glitch.
Yeah, he fixed the glitch.
That's
He doesn't get it.
No longer getting
Doesn't
paid.
get a check.
Oh man.
Rizin is now going to be asking the ABC, that's the Athletic Commission, for help training their officials. They said that the regulations and safety measures in Japan are several years behind the United States.
No.
And they want to make sure that they are knowledgeable and ready. So they're going to be actually attending the seminar that's going down January 22nd with famed boxing referee and instructor Jay Nady, boxing judge Steve Weinsfeld, and Big John McCarthy. In fact, classes can accept up to 10 to 12 licensed fighters and trainers or media at no cost. So if anybody wants to take down a trip down to LA and learn the new rules.
I could sum up that for those referees. Just stop it sooner. You guys, you guys are way too late a lot of times.
Not too soon, like Mizugaki, but you know.
Mizugaki, yeah.
Yeah.
Now they're like, oh, wait, you're the hot dog guy. What?
So we're gonna see. Is there gonna be like one big screen specifically for Japan that says "Freak Show 5" with a big X through it?
They're sending a translator, so we'll see what ends up happening.
Yeah. No more 52-year-old women fighting Gabby Garcia.
I can't even believe that was even.
It's
Then
pro
it happened.
wrestling. That's what it
But
was.
52 years old and Gabby, good God.
Would you fight Gabby?
No, that's a no-win. That is a no-win
No win
anyway.
situation.
Shape or form. No, Jesus.
She's back in the States, by the way.
And on Tinder.
When is she gonna make a
She
sex
is
tape?
on Tinder.
She's on
When
Tinder.
is she gonna make a sex tape?
Right?
I don't know.
Doesn't
She's on
she seem like
Tinder.
the type-
She's on Tinder.
Yeah.
Like China, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Why
When,
would she make a sex tape? Some guy.
Or the other.
I got a
Or the other
feeling.
way
in
around.
a Clydesdale.
Nah, man, I got a feeling that Gabby Garcia might be into short dudes.
There you go.
Anyway, she is on Tinder. She does have a profile up there.
Yep.
Somebody on Reddit actually swiped. Was it right?
Swiped
I don't know
right.
which way we swiped.
Swiped right,
Swiped
swipe
right on
left.
her and didn't get a connection with her, unfortunately. But
I wonder what kind of guys she's into.
short guy. I'm telling you right now.
Is there any pictures of her with anyone? Like
Nope.
as far as nothing?
Nothing. Just her
Cyborg.
Tinder.
What about girls? No picture with her getting friendly with girls.
Views on this podcast expressed. No, her and Cyborg are really good friends, but she was on Tinder. As far as we know, didn't
What about
match with anybody.
Cyborg since she got divorced from?
from the other Cyborg, Evangelista? Yeah.
Which we'll talk about today. Actually, we can go ahead and jump right into that now.
we
has
have
decided,
Evangelista news.
Yeah, Evangelista has decided to retire at the age of 39, going 32-18 in his career. He's done after his last fight and his last, I would say, career ending almost.
Yeah, I think that's what decided that he needs to retire, not necessarily him.
Getting your sinuses caved in.
Man,
Yeah.
that X-ray, Jesus.
Way to go, MVP. You put away Cyborg too.
Yeah, so he
And
says
then made
he's still
Brown
going to be
mad.
running the Shootbox Gym in Texas, but otherwise he is going to retire. Also retiring, Peggy Morgan. Peggy Morgan, members of the Ultimate Fighter. She retires at
Say
37.
that name sounds really familiar.
Yeah, she also went over to Invicta. She went 2-3 in Invicta, and 1-1 on the Ultimate Fighter show. So she's also retiring. Let's see what we can jump back into. We have Bellator is going to be having their first ever women's featherweight title belt, and we're going to have Marloes Conan going against Julie Budd.
Bellator doesn't seem to
Excuse me,
highlight.
Julia Budd.
I'm going to sound really stupid here, but they don't seem to highlight a lot of women's fights. So they don't.
This is like, not
of their first
This
ones,
is one of their
isn't it?
first big ones, I think, that are being pushed forward. I know they have women fighters on their card,
Yeah.
but not
But in
many that are
Bellator, I mean,
pushed forward.
they lost a lot, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, when Strikeforce went under, a lot of the women fighters had no choice but to go to Invicta
But that's-
because
and it's
even
been a
UFC wasn't doing women's fights. At that
Yeah,
point
but
in
it's a
time.
great organization still.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, not that Bellator is not a great organization, but they haven't been really, like you said, pushing women's fights to the
But
forefront.
when you go to Invicta, it's like you know that you're a drafting pool for the UFC. So you might not have your sights focused on Bellator. I mean, granted, if the call comes through,
Yeah.
sure, why wouldn't you take that? But if the Invicta is a drafting pool for
So
the UFC,
career-wise, it'd be better to go to Invicta than Bellator.
As a woman fighter, I would say so.
I would say
yeah.
so, yeah. I'd agree with that. Because the difficulty of being drafted from Bellator into the UFC is probably far greater than being picked up
But
from
being
Invicta.
being a Bellator champ sounds a lot better than being an Invicta champ.
Right.
I don't know about that.
I'm kind
You know,
of
because
I'm kind of with you there
you're a
because-
champ and also a men's league. You see what I'm saying?
I'm kind of with you
and
there
Invicta's
also
just
because
all
they're
women. You know,
and
no
because they're
offense.
televised
Yeah.
also.
But I mean, would you? That's like the girl who was the World Series of Fighting Women's Championship. Remember her?
Yeah.
She
No.
was. She was there. She was like beating everybody, and then she went. Now she's in the UFC because there just was no competition for her in World Series of Fighting. Albert just texted me and said they used to have a lot of women's divisions. They dissolved all of them. Bellator did.
In Bellator.
Yeah, and now they're reopening it again.
Oh, so that must have been like really
So,
early.
right,
in
What was
Bellator.
the UFC champ? She lost to
Because they have 3 women's kickboxing divisions.
Carla.
right?
What was she the champion?
Carlo Esparza?
She was a
115.
for what
Strawweight.
promotion?
Invicta, I believe.
It wasn't Bellator.
No.
No.
My concern is only with the red
No,
tape
they
that may
cleaned out
come.
Invicta.
Because how difficult
Who
is
did
it
she
for,
get
for
choked?
the
Remember
UFC?
who was it? I that choked her with that arm triangle choke against the cage
Jessica Eye?
Yeah,
and,
that was
and
in-
dropped her.
That was an Invicta.
That was Invicta.
That was
Okay.
Invicta, yeah.
But the red tape between getting a fight, if you're the UFC, picking up a fighter from the Invicta versus picking up a fighter from Bellator, it's easier to get a fighter from Invicta.
For sure.
However, if you're in Bellator, you have
And it also seems like now, when you're done with the UFC, you go
to
to
Bellator,
Bellator, not the
yeah.
other way around.
right, it's a
Yeah.
retirement ground.
Yeah, but right now, if you get a check from Invicta, it says WME, right?
I believe so.
Does it really?
I don't know for sure.
Yeah, because they're all under that, right?
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
I don't know if they own it outright, but they might. It might
Because
be
the UFC didn't own Invicta.
just
Oh, yeah,
partnership.
they pretty much took it all over, right?
I thought we talked about this. They didn't do it.
I think they just took fighters. They had a working contract where they were able to take talent.
Just a working agreement.
We got 3 computers. Someone look it up.
Yeah, Joey, get on that.
Is there a difference
just a
between
cog
the
in the
UFC
machine, my
owning
friend.
something and then the company that owns the UFC owning something? You see what I'm saying?
Right. I think UFC is just the brand at
Yeah,
this point.
yeah.
It's
Right now, WME owns
WME
everything.
or
Right. Because
or
remember it was
UFC.
Viacom. Remember what was it? Viacom?
Viacom owns Bellator.
They own Bellator.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Jesus.
That's-
What was it before that owned the UFC?
Zufa.
The Zuffa, yeah.
Zufa's gone.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Zufa's completely gone.
Zuf is a 20% owner.
Yeah, they're yeah.
Oh, they
Zuffa
still
took
are?
the money and
Oh.
run.
They still get money. Rafael dos Anjos has decided to move from lightweight, going up to welterweight,
Really?
going from 155 to 170.
Wow. Okay.
How do you feel about that?
It's a big, big jump for
Was
a
that
guy
that
who did
ass
so
whooping
well
that
at
made him wanna do
155. It has to be.
He says, I don't think 15 pounds makes a big difference. Other guys are bigger and stronger.
15
for
pounds
sure.
makes a huge difference.
I'm used
The lower you get, yeah. The lower
I'm,
weight you
I'm
get.
used to training with guys that big. I also think that they are big, but they cut weight. I will go through something.
Just ask Connor versus Nate in the first fight.
He was 8 times bigger than him.
He says.
According
I'll-
to Dana. Yeah.
He says I'll also have to cut weight at 170, but I'll cut less. I fought well at 155, but I don't think I ever came close to my best. I'll be at my best at 170.
What does he walk around at? I'm curious now.
I don't know.
175? He looks like about 175.
Okay,
That's-
just give that to 2 hands. You
I'm
just
gonna-
think it's 1 hand?
Yeah, 2 hands.
Walking
is
around,
definitely
not
one-
fighting, it's got to be
170.
heavier than that.
Really? You think so? He fights at 155, so that'd be a 20
UFC
pound cut.
fighters know how to cut weight. They got it down to a
Some
science.
do.
Some do.
Well, except for the guys that are cutting just way too much, obviously.
We're finding out as of late they don't have it down.
Or
to
the guys
science.
that can't cut since
Lineker.
USADA's in town.
Lineker, not good at it.
No.
No.
Lineker 2 cakes.
We talked about this last.
Pig rig.
Big rig.
Pig rig's not good at it.
I'm telling you, ever since USADA came to town, a lot of these guys can't cut weight like they used to.
Can't use Winstraw.
They can't use clenbuterol, Winstrol. We get Anavar. You want a lot of things. Ephedrine. You can't use ephedrine. I know that's banned, right?
It's like when you can get away with shit at your house and your mom and your dad don't know that you're getting away with shit, but they kind of feel like you are.
Right.
And then you got that one uptight fucking aunt who has like the white glove technique and she comes to town for a weekend and all of a sudden
Yeah.
she catches you in all your shit. That's what USADA is.
But they say
Now she moved in.
Fuck. She moved in and you're fucked. Can't get away with nothing.
Yeah, but they say Roy test. It's an IQ test.
It was. That's what they're saying. That was back
Yeah.
before USADA came in. That it was. It was.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we're
super
gonna
easy
see
was
these.
being able to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And now it's just
They're
super
saying
difficult.
everybody's getting busted now. Everybody. Mark Hunt, we talked about this last week, is suing the UFC and Brock Lesnar for alleged doping fraud conspiracy.
Now we talked about him not being able to sue other opponents because he said he didn't care if they were. Doping
Well,
or not.
they're saying that again, that this might be what the UFC uses against him in court, is that he made a statement that said, I don't care. Everyone should be on a level playing field, to be honest, but it is what it is. I don't care if you're cheating or not. I'll punch your face in. That's all I've got. So they're basically saying that he's already
accepted the
fact
yeah.
that, and he knew. Whereas, He's also saying he's putting out some big things. He says without Hunt's knowledge or consent, the UFC conspired, caused Lesnar, a doping fighter, to fight Hunt, a clean fighter, despite the fact that Lesnar used substances banned by the UFC, USADA and WADA. The substances clofamine
Clomid,
and hydroxychloroquine are known as post-cycle therapy substances believed to be used after a period of strength training with anabolic steroids or prohibited substances.
It brings your testosterone back.
Defendant's conduct in connection with UFC 200 is representative of and consistent with a pattern of conduct by the defendants of wrongfully jeopardizing fighter health and safety for profit in violation of state and federal law and the UFC's own policies. The UFC's pattern of conduct includes, but not limited to, granting doping exemptions, drug testing exemptions to known doping competitors, and causing those drug-enhanced fighters to compete with clean fighters. Basically going back all the way to the TRT era, saying that they were giving guys exemptions to fight, knowing that they were dirty.
He's got a good point, man.
Well, I like this for two reasons. I like this, one, because we talked about when Brock Lesnar came into fight and how they gave him this ridiculous exemption that they
what was it,
hadn't
4
given
months?
anybody.
What was it?
Yeah,
It was a 3-month exemption.
But then how did he still get in trouble? I don't understand that.
Because he didn't care.
What do you mean?
He just didn't give a shit.
He
knew
was
that-
given exemption for his previous, so they could not take any of his tests that happened before the fight
Before
and use against him.
What do you mean? So then how did
He was able to keep doping all the way
if you
up
sign
until
with
the
the UFC
fight.
today,
Yeah.
you start drug testing.
Okay.
No matter when your fight is going to be. Then when your fight happens, they're going to drug test you even further,
Right.
and then they're going to test you afterwards.
Okay.
So if you had Brock Lesnar's exemption, everything they tested for before your fight would not count against you. That's the gift.
Before the bell rings.
Before the bell rings. Now after, everything is on you.
Right.
He tested after.
But when? When did he get tested again? Because it's still going to be in a system. So
It had to be within
No,
6 hours.
that's exactly
Yeah.
it.
well, what
He
I'm saying is, okay, so if I'm okay to have, so say you test me the night before my fight, and I'm okay to have
Whatever.
a high testosterone, whatever. But I can't have it on Monday if you test me again after
Right.
the fight.
Exactly.
It's not going to go down,
Right.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Brock Lesnar didn't give a shit.
He said no
The guy got a
problem.
$3 million
unless-
payday. He didn't care.
Unless your masking agent
Yeah.
wore off.
Wore off.
I don't think you can mask testosterone levels.
Oh,
That's what these they're
No,
saying.
so he
these are
gets a
helping
$3 million
No.
payday.
What those drugs right there? What it does is it's part of your post cycle therapy, from what I hear. And
Allegedly.
you take certain drugs, like female fertility drugs, things like that,
Yeah.
because it boosts up your estrogen levels, and your body offsets that by producing testosterone again. And when you
Yeah.
inject, your body stops
Oh,
making
we've
testosterone.
talked about this exact same
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
But the thing with Brock Lesnar, he knew he was getting a $3 million payday and was going to have to pay a $250,000 fine. So
he
gives
said
a
who
shit?
cares?
Yeah. Why not? So test.
So he
get
got
the
tested. So you're
exemption.
saying so he failed the test after the fight.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he would have failed before.
He also
had
failed
it not
before.
been the
But he
exemption.
got the 4
He
months
also
exemption.
failed before, but was exempt.
But was exempt.
And
Exactly.
they knew that he failed when he walked in the ring,
Well,
But didn't tell Hunt.
but they didn't tell
when
him.
did Brock know that he was gonna? So whenever that fight date was,
Well, that's the other thing.
Brock knew he was going to fail this test. I want to say roughly around 2007.
I think what it comes down to is that also that there's no exact date of when they contacted Brock Lesnar. No one's going to tell you, hey, we signed Brock Lesnar to take this fight at UFC 200. Because remember, it was like a big deal, right?
Right.
Yeah.
It was a big deal that they were, they were
Ariel
worried
Helwani
about.
lost his press credentials. Yeah,
Yeah.
big deal.
So,
but I want to know: did Mark Hunt sign? Did Brock Lesnar sign on the dotted line, and had enough time to get off by the time the fight?
That's what they're
happened?
saying. Yes, he did.
He did. He could have. He could have got
could've
off the
been off.
That's why they gave him
testosterone.
the exemption.
That's
and
why they
had-
gave him the exemption.
What we're alluding to, which again, this is like allegedly, and we talked about this before.
Because I don't know how long it takes for
All this stuff to get out of your
unnatural
system.
testosterone to get out of your system. I'm guessing they're saying, hey, it might take less than 4 months, but we're going to give you 4 months,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
in case.
Just in case.
And he's like, no, fuck it, I'm doing it all the way until
Yeah.
The end.
the day of.
Yeah.
And
I think that's pretty much that's what Mark Hunt is. Alleged.
so he never he.
That's what Mark Hunt is
Someone
saying.
may venture to guess that he just didn't care.
So Brock, so saying that Brock never intended on fighting again.
But they're saying that he's got suspended for a year.
for a year, and he's already 6
That's it.
months into it, so he
He's
can
already
fight
6 months
again
into
this
it.
summer if he wants.
And they're already saying, there's rumors right now that, because Connor's not fighting again until May, that obviously Ronda's going to have to take another break. They don't have any.
And that
big,
just shows you how much the UFC
they don't have big stars.
is-
They're going to turn around and sign Brock
is in the
Lesnar for
money-
another fight for a big star.
It makes sense.
It shows you how much the UFC is in the money making business, because that's really what it really is. Everybody talks about sportsmanship,
Yeah.
and,
But it wasn't for 18 years.
If it don't make dollars, it don't make
They
sense.
didn't make any money for
but you have Brock.
money for 18
You have
years.
Brock saying, "Oh, you know what? You guys are gonna give me enough time to get off the testosterone. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna do it all the way, and I'm gonna fail it. I don't care." You'd figure as an employer, you'd say, "We don't want you anymore." That's
Yeah.
pretty jacked up. But they know that he sells tickets, So they're like, slap on the head. Come on.
Yeah.
But get those tickets. That guy sells a lot of
And
tickets.
that's what it appears to be.
Yeah.
And again, they walk out of it because we're not the one that handles the testing. We're not the ones that do the suspensions.
Right.
We're just where they fight.
Yeah.
We're promoting. That's it. We're promoters.
Right.
And
Ron-
Dana White has said that too recently in an interview. That's why I'm the promoter and you're not.
Ronda Rousey's home was vandalized. This made front page news across a lot of MMA sites for some reason because she lives in Venice Beach and her house got tagged. And because she lives in Venice Beach and her house got tagged, she was spotted outside her house.
Oh, man.
my God.
She's not in hiding.
Is that? Oh, Jesus. Is that? No, that's not real.
I'm just telling
Oh
you.
no, that's real.
That's real.
That was a thing.
She was ripped the other day. She was shredded
Wait
the
a
other
minute,
day.
What are you walking at?
Hey, she was, but I was never. I was never shredded. You know, she was shredded. Look at her.
but
Jesus.
nobody knows. I don't know. Yeah.
Does she get tested?
She's on the Gina Carano 2 scoops diet at this point.
Her lats. Look at her lats. Go back. Look at those. Dude,
Go back.
Jeez, dude, that's a nice wingspan.
She still looks better than me in that position. I got nothing
She
to
doesn't
say.
get tested, dude. She doesn't get tested. They don't touch the
We don't know if this actually was from,
That's what I'm
last
saying.
week
Was this
or
yeah,
6 weeks
That's
before.
what I'm saying.
I'm
When
just
was
saying,
this? Because they like to spin it around.
That Daily Mail decided to drop this
If
out.
it's Daily Mail, then you can whatever.
that, she was out of her house.
Ronda 2 scoops Rousey. Can I just say whoever tagged Ronda Rousey's house did a shitty job.
It was obviously
too,
Ivantos
please.
Loco.
It was just tagging. There's no hate speech. There's no you suck. There's no it's just.
Where
What
are
did
the
it
lords
say?
at when you need them?
Did it say anything?
Hey, who knows? Nobody can tell because it's just tagging. It's in Venice Beach. They tag shit all the time.
They probably didn't even know it was her
They
house.
didn't even know it. That's what I'm saying. They
Yeah,
probably didn't
I'm
even
sure
know.
they
But
didn't.
it
I'm
made
sure they
national news as far as MMA
They're
is
like,
concerned.
fuck this rich person.
Any of you graffiti artists listening to this podcast right now, you fucking suck.
Go tag her house and do it proper.
Yeah,
well, I mean, not
Unless
on
you're
our-
like those professional
not on our-
graffiti artists. Those
Go-
guys are badass.
Yeah, the lords. Bring the lords back, man. We're good.
Nevada State Athletic Commission is considering removing cannabinoids from its
Good.
prohibited list.
About
Good.
time.
So
Talk about behind the times, man.
yeah,
I think everybody's behind the times when it comes to that
To
stuff
weed?
now. Yeah.
I
that
don't even
is
smoke weed, but everybody should have weed.
going to be on the ballot for their next thing.
Everyone. Just somehow, some way, have some weed.
We got
I don't smell any weed in
I don't
here either.
condone any
Robbie
drugs.
Lawler. Robbie Lawler has left American Top Team.
Really?
Oh, wow. Where's he going?
Nobody knows. He has not come out.
Is he
and
going
made-
back to Militage?
Hasn't come back and said, "Is that still a camp?
Tabardine reached
You know what? That's a good question.
Is Militant still a camp?"
I haven't heard.
I'm calling Greg Jackson right now.
You think it's where he's gonna go?
Yeah.
alpha male.
Holy shit.
No,
Could you
you have to
imagine
think about
his big
who's-
ass
who's
alpha
that-
male?
No, he
Who's
needs
that
to
Greg
fight people
Jackson?
his size. He can't go to alpha male.
I see his style.
Yeah, he's twice as.
Yeah, I see his style doing really well. at
What's he
Greg
gonna be
Jackson.
like? The teacher?
Because you know what? Yeah, because Lawler's always
He's
been
the
a
yard
mental.
duty. If he
a
goes to
mental
alpha
fighter.
male, he's the yard duty.
You know what I mean? And Greg Jackson's
Yeah,
the
hall
best for
monitor.
your
For
mentality.
sure. And his wrestling base and his heavy hands, like he looks like a Jackson fighter.
All right.
Yeah, and Robbie Lawler, he seems emotionless, but he's
very
feeling those
emotional
emotions.
guy. I've seen him get very emotional.
Yeah.
When Matt Hughes lost his belt to George St. Pierre, he almost beat the
And I
shit
think
out of these
Greg
Canadians.
Jackson could do well.
I was there for that fight in Sacramento. It was the first fight in California that I can remember. It was in Sacramento, UFC 65.
Is he as scary in person
Yes.
as he is on
Yes.
TV?
He is
Jesus,
scary.
That man is.
And almost beat the shit out of these Canadian guys. And
I
then
don't think so. They all seem smaller to me.
And then we went to
the
an event.
media, all the media that's around me, they're like, tell him.
Go tell him he's small.
Go tell him how small he is.
No, I'm just going to sit here.
You're a big guy though. I met Thiago Alves?
Yeah.
At an airport, and I was like, Jesus, there's no fucking way you fight at 170. What the fuck, man? You're walking around like 230. He's like bursting out of his own
USADA's
skin.
in town. That's not gonna happen anymore.
Dude's wearing a Miami Heat jersey, and he's just like, "What's up, dude?" Fuck, man.
We have official
Acai Bowls.
UFC 209 is taking place
Acai.
March 4th in Las Vegas, not in Stockton.
Damn it!
Tyrone Woodley will be defending his belt in a rematch against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
Can we just say, fucking WME missed a golden opportunity here?
A lot
How
of
many?
people already saw
That they would have sold a lot more tickets, I think.
Oh, yeah.
if
They
it was-
wouldn't have made. It
But
would've
what
cost
venue,
40
though?
million, because both brothers wanted 20 million to show.
Also
up.
on
They
this,
did.
20 million.
also on this
Wow.
card, you're gonna have Khabib Nurmagomedov against Tony Ferguson for the interim lightweight belt
think they
since
should-
Conor
20
McGregor
million?
is stepping away.
Should've paid him.
No big
So,
deal. 40
once
million,
again-
then rent the arena.
Once again, Conor McGregor has not defended his belt ever. we are now having to do an interim.
I want to see Conor McGregor on like the Inside the Actor studio with the guy who like gets everybody to cry and break, you know? Be like,
that's one of the best ideas I've ever heard. That would be amazing.
Why haven't you defended
What
the
kind
belt?
of Conor would show it? Would it be the cocky kind, or would it,
No, he'd show up super cocky.
But then he would
the sweater jacket and the big rose glasses.
right, and then he'd break him down eventually, you know?
Yeah.
And
he'd have to
talk
take off
about-
his glasses and wipe away his eyes a little bit.
James Lipton, right?
And Conor, you know what? Conor does have a little history,
When
actually.
was it
you know?
Yeah.
that you decided
His story is
not to
every bodybuilder in
defend
California.
any
Collected,
belt ever?
Was it unemployment?
Collected unemployment and worked out.
Yeah.
That's Arnold Schwarzenegger too, right?
Also, a change in some fights here. We have Stefan Struve, who was supposed to be fighting Junior Dos Santos, has to pull out of his fight due to an injury.
Sand in the clitoris.
No.
Wow.
How old is
ouch.
Stefan, and how many fights has he had in the UFC?
Pretty young.
He's
still
young. That's what I'm
Young.
saying. And how many
He had that
fights
heart
has he...
problem, though. Remember? He had
Right.
to step away for a little
Was
while.
he he's only like 25, 24 years
Yeah.
old.
And how many fights has he had in the UFC? He's got to have...
like 13.
So no
I want to say 13.
no replacement yet to fight Junior Dos Santos
I just
on
like that
card
number because it's
in
Friday the
October.
13th. You know, no replacement.
No
Oh,
replacement
that
yet.
sucks.
So we will see. And of course, we have two big news to go over right before we get into the fights. The first one being Meryl Streep was awarded the CCB DeMille Lifetime Achievement Award at the Golden Globes.
I hope she gets osteoporosis.
She in her
She already has
acceptance
fibromyalgia.
her
you know.
acceptance speech,
We
she
all do.
took some swipes at President-elect Donald Trump, and also said Hollywood is crawling with outsiders and foreigners. If we kick them all out, we will have nothing to watch but football and mixed martial arts, which are not the
They're not
arts.
the arts.
Yeah, but it's crawling with foreigners too.
Can we just say first
I
off?
love Jesus.
Hold on. We had Scott Coker wrote her
All
a
right.
letter and said that, you know, as a lifelong fan of your work and a lifelong martial artist who happen to promote mixed martial arts around the world, I just want to let you know it's a global sport of mixed martial arts celebrities, male and female, from all around who work tirelessly honoring their craft and, yes, and art. They come from every country and every walk in life. We at Bellator support them in the honor and skill. Even invited her to come to a Bellator event. Prove her wrong. Dana White said, of course it's an art. These fighters, the men and women, are so talented. They train their whole lives to become the best in the world. You know, and the people who get into the UFC are the elite of the elite. It's like saying something stupid. It's saying something stupid like that and saying something she's not a talented actress. She's a very talented actress. But it's not going to be everybody's thing. Last thing I expect is an uppity 80-year-old lady to be in our demographic and love mixed martial arts.
Accurate.
He says, you know, listen, everybody's into whatever. I'm not a big fan of golf. Doesn't mean people should stop watching it. If you don't like it, change the channel.
First off, I like the way that she picked mixed martial arts because it has the word arts in the title. Because it follows
Her
football.
speechwriter did a great job.
Her speechwriter did a great job. But let's go ahead and just backtrack this. Let's roll it back.
I have
quite a bit here.
one thing before you get into your rant that I want to say is I'm actually was okay with some of what she said.
Yeah, so was I.
Because she brought mixed martial arts in with fucking football.
Yeah,
That's
that's
amazing.
awesome.
Oh, you
Like,
never would have heard of that 20 years ago,
That's
15
the top
years
of her
ago.
mind.
course
It's like
not.
mixed martial arts and football. Those are the two things that people are into
Yeah.
today, and I don't understand them.
But like I said,
I think NASCAR would have been a better, you know.
Something, but anyway, I was a little happy.
I think she
Now,
said arts
good press is
specifically
bad
because
press.
it had arts in
Because
the
it had
title.
arts, yeah.
Good press is bad
Good
press.
yeah,
Whatever.
you know, it was in the limelight. Obviously, it got headlines.
this
a lot
is
of
good.
people,
I
a lot of mixed
love it.
martial artists were very
But if we
upset.
can roll it back just a little bit, I love that she wanted to promote unity by singling out the immigrants that were in the audience. Good job on that, Meryl
And where
Streep.
they're from.
Huge fan of The Devil Wears Prada, by the way. And also your anti-bullying message that got across by bullying everybody who doesn't agree with you, which was also fantastic as well. But let's go ahead and jump into the idea that for some reason mixed martial arts is not an art. When you look at, well, I could be a guy with a camera and I can go make a movie.
Well, I will definitely say that her latest, what is it, Ricky fucking Rockstar or whatever the shit, that shit is horrible. That's not
I
art.
haven't even seen that.
She's in some new movie, and that's why I'd rather.
not art.
Like Joe Rogan said, I'd rather watch Anderson Silva fucking kick Vitor Belfort in the face because that was fucking art compared to that piece of shit she just shot.
Exactly. And you can be any guy with a camera. You can go out and shoot any film that you want, but it still doesn't make it art. I mean, look at Uwe Boll and all the movies that he's made out of every video game.
Of art on Pornhub.
There's
Yes.
Yule Bowl has
And
some
I have,
great movies.
and I have
That's
painted
true,
some
too.
great
That's a great
canvases
movie.
to that as well. But when you look at something like football, or you look at
I
something
liked
like
Blood
mixed
Rain.
martial arts, I'm sorry.
was it Alone in the Dark? What was the other one he did?
My favorite one was House of the Dead.
House of the Dead, yes.
When he had Steve the janitor walking in the back, but he was a zombie, but he was really just
Custodian, Steve the custodian.
Steve the custodian. He was really just picking stuff up, but they were like, make him a zombie anyway. Put a flannel shirt on him. Steve, you're a zombie now. All right, I'm still just picking shit up back here, though, right? Yeah.
Custodian zombie.
But you look at somebody, something like that, and then
tell
you
what Josh does
just
for a
compare
living?
it to football and mixed martial arts, which are not arts. That's fine. Film doesn't have to be an art either. However, when you look at football and you take somebody like Herschel Walker, when that guy walking on the field, he painted his canvas. When you look at someone, this was a comparison given to me by a friend like Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
That guy walks out and he commands his symphony when he's out there on the field. Not everybody who plays football is an artist. Not everybody who does mixed martial arts is an
LC.
artist either. However, when you look at someone like George St. Pierre or Anderson Silva, when they walk out on their literal canvas, when they walk out on the literal canvas
man,
and you
I'm
watch them perform, what they are doing right there, that is an art.
Do we have an MMA American flag to drop behind
We got
Joey?
In Diaz We Trust right
stand
here.
Yeah, there we go.
Can you stand up like Patton? Like,
Could give Meryl Streep the DX salute right now and just, suck it. But that was an unnecessary insult, and you drag mixed martial arts under the bus for a complete reason to further something that didn't have to happen like that. It really didn't.
But she
mentioned it.
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
So Meryl
That's
Streep,
true,
thank
that's
you.
true.
I still
Suck
love the Devil Wears Prada, and you can suck a dick. Probably really well because you're like 90 and you have a lot of practice. But
apparently she's only
She
60.
wouldn't nearly make enough spit. Not at that age, right? Am I wrong? I don't know.
it'd be just in the corner of her mouth right here
About the moisture content of a blowjob.
I can't
From
believe I
Meryl
said
Streep.
this.
from Meryl.
Oh, it's gonna be so dry. It's gonna be like a desert.
So thanks for listening to our last show ever. Moving on now.
So this has been going back and forth forever. Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Mayweather said he's only going to fight Conor McGregor for $100 million guaranteed, and he'll give Conor McGregor $15 million. Dana White went on Colin Cowherd's The Herd today and said, "Look, I'm an actual promoter. You don't get to make this. I do. He's under contract with me. So if you want this, he's like, guess what? I'll pay you $25 million guaranteed. I'll give Conor $25 million. We'll talk about pay-per-view at a certain number. That's the actual offer if you want this to actually happen." He said, "Don't be talking about how you're the big draw anymore." He's like, because your last fight only got 350,000 buys. Conor's last two fights have got over 1 million buys. You were great, but not so much anymore. You need it because you want the
I
money.
think that was below the belt, man.
You need it
That was
because you
below
want the
belt.
money. He says, and you try to say Conor McGregor hasn't made 8 or 10 million in a fight. You're wrong again. He's like, I'm the promoter. I'm telling you. He said, if that's the fight you want, come talk to me. He's like, otherwise, just stick to retirement. That's pretty much where it sits. What do you think it's at? And he even said, if this bout actually happens, he's like, I'm going to stack it with a championship fight underneath that boxing match and a stacked undercard, just like I did in New York.
What I don't understand is I know this is getting a lot of publicity, but could this fight happen with athletic commissions? Would they give the go-ahead? Because on paper, you have...
not in Nevada, but he already has his boxing license in California and New York.
But
so
right, would they agree to... Would they even agree to that? You have to think
Man, if
about
they'll
it.
give Rocky his for having a speech in the middle of the thing, like, they got to give him one, right?
But I mean, on paper, you have arguably one of the greatest boxers of all time, and then you got
Who's
a guy
retired?
that is 0-0 in boxing.
No. If they'll sanction CM Punk to go ahead and fight in mixed martial arts, then they will sanction this.
But he also went up against a guy that was 2-0,
But
Yeah,
it was that fight. Was
and
about to
also
happen.
both of them.
What
were,
if they say it's an exhibition bout?
Yeah, that's different.
I
That's different.
guarantee you, because of Conor McGregor.
If it doesn't go on a record, they say it's an exhibition bout.
Right, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
That's probably how they do it.
probably what it
Even
will
if it
be.
did go on a record, what record does it go on?
What
MMA or boxing?
athletic commission would have to approve it in
Depends if
order
it's an
for it to
MMA
go on
bout or a
record.
boxing match.
Conor would get smoked, by the way, in a boxing
In
match.
boxing, yeah. We've
No,
talked
they
about
would.
this.
They would both refuse to engage.
Just run circles?
No, I think
You think it's going to cave
Floyd would get him.
Yeah?
Because you know what? Floyd is the greatest defensive boxer of all time, by far.
For sure.
Yeah.
And his movement, he's too quick. And you guys seen the video against Conor against that other pro boxer, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
The longer
yes.
version, the real version.
Yeah.
Conor did horrible. And who was that guy? I don't even know that guy's name.
But that's fair. I mean, it's the same thing. Vice versa. If Floyd Mayweather came
There's
into
an
a mixed
MMA
martial
bout.
arts
He's gonna lose.
match, he's going to lose to Conor McGregor.
He's getting
If-
taken down.
How would he lose though? How would he
Submission.
lose? Huh?
Submission.
So you're saying he would get a takedown?
If you're
Yeah.
smart, you always
Are you
take
sure?
down the boxer.
Yeah.
Conor's cocky as shit.
He
would
is.
probably think I can knock him out in my arena. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think that like Randy Couture up against James Toney, even though
But Randy Couture's he was not as cocky and he couldn't hit as hard as Conor can.
True. I mean,
You
but
know.
he went down for that low
That's,
ankle
yeah,
picked
and
him.
he was smart.
Boom. Got
he
him.
was smart, but also
He said you're dumb, Connor. He said it.
No. No.
You're gonna end up like those two guys who were talking shit about Conor McGregor, and he pulled up in the car.
Yeah.
You saw that?
You know, I went to Ireland last year. It was amazing. You guys if you guys haven't been, the Temple Bar area, Ireland is awesome.
I haven't been out of the country. I don't think Ireland is gonna.
You gotta go to Ireland.
You actually have a fair. Canada will not let me there for another 3 years.
UFC Fight Night 103 is going down on the 15th. What is that? Sunday?
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah. Today's
Sunday?
the 13th.
Today's the 13th? Yeah, so that's going down on Fight Pass for free.
For Frizzle.
And in fact, UFC is giving away free Fight Pass so you can watch this.
for BJ Penn's return.
You can watch this, Invicta 21,
Yeah.
and 2 other fights.
Yeah, so we
2
have...
other promotions.
Can you hear you? Did you hear yourself in the headphones? Okay, just making sure.
You want to jump into the prelim card just going on Fox Sports 1?
Not really.
No?
It's on Fox Sports 1, and then it goes on. Oh, wait, I thought you said it was on Fight Pass.
But still, if you don't
Okay.
have Fox Sports 1, you catch it on
Oh,
Fight
so
Pass,
it's on
right?
Fox.
That's,
okay,
what I've been told,
So,
right?
so Walt Harris is going up against Chase Herman. You also got Alex White taking on Tony Martin. You know Walt?
No, I'm thinking of the guy that's fighting on the next Ultimate Fighter.
Oh, okay.
That hadn't been back in a while. Gerard Harris. What was his
Gerard,
name?
yeah.
Gerard Harris?
What are you talking
Are
about?
we talking about the next Ultimate Fighter? Is that
He
coming
was
up soon?
like 2-0 in the UFC, and they just cut him, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Then you got Olensky, Olenek going up against Vitor Pesta, and Frankie Sands going up against Augusto Mendez. Jumping onto your main card here, you got John Moraga going up against Sergio Pettis, the younger Pettis. Also, Court McGee taking on Big Ben Saunders. Good times there. Joe Lauzon taking on Martin Held. And Yair Rodriguez going up against BJ Penn for his return. I'm not taking a pick in that
I
fight.
believe this is his second or his third return.
Oh, man. How
How many times did BJ come back?
The first time he
Usually
left, right?
once.
And
It's the rise and fall and rise and fall, right? Like
he just left and he went to that small promotion for
You
a bit.
can't,
Remember
you
that?
can't pick him to win
Rumble
until
on
you
the
see
Rock?
him walk down the ramp either.
he started his own promotion. Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was.
I'm going to be taking John Moraga. I really like Ben Saunders, Joe Lauzon, and then I always root for BJ Penn. I think Yair might get him, but I always root for BJ Penn.
I'm going to hope for Sergio Pettis. I'm going to go Court McGee, Joe Lauzon, and I can't pick the main event until I see BJ Penn walk down the ramp.
That's very good.
I got to go. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I got to go with BJ. And Joe Lauzon, he's probably going to get another award. How many has he had already?
It's called the Joe Lauzon Award.
Yeah. Got to go with Court. His story, I always back that guy up.
Yeah.
Over Killer B. But and then Sergio, you got to go with
Sergio.
Yeah.
All right.
Pettis. And that's going down again Sunday night on Fight Pass and Fox Sports 1. If you get a chance, it's free. You might as well watch it. Also going down, is this tonight?
This is Invicta 21.
Tomorrow night,
going
January
down tomorrow.
14th. Invicta 21, your main fights here.
For the interim featherweight championship, again, because Cyborg is not fighting due to her possible suspension.
Right.
We have Megan Anderson and Charmaine Tweet for the featherweight championship that will be for their interim belt.
And then you got Pani Kianzad going up against Raquel Palui. And it's a catchweight at 120. Callie Robbins taking on Jody Escobar.
Aspen Ladd's from around the area, isn't she not?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah,
I'm not sure exactly where. Is it Oakdale? Oakdale MMA?
I believe so, yeah?
Yeah,
You don't know?
we've heard that name for sure.
Let's see.
Right, yeah.
She's clickable.
She's clickable.
Joey's going to root for her. Oh, it just goes to another fight that she had.
All right.
She's from Folsom.
All right. Well,
Folsom.
close
I think
enough.
From Folsom. I don't know where
She
she
might
fights.
be got an MMA gold.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Can I just back up here for a second? I completely forgot about my Meryl Street rant.
By the way, on
Did you
that,
forget about it?
Let me-
Because
let me
you
just-
seem like
let me
you were
back
doing
up.
just fine. MMA Gold. She's fighting out
Let
MMA
me
Gold.
back up. Oh, you got it right. MMA Gold.
let me back up. On that card also is Rachel Ostovich. She doesn't nearly get as much publicity as being one
Backed up your back.
of
did.
the hottest girls in MMA. That girl is gorgeous. Wonder Woman, Jesus.
Who is it again?
She is
Starting off the night.
She is one of the most
All right.
beautiful girls I've ever seen in my life.
Well, good luck to you. Wonder Woman, right there. Boom. Rachel Ostovich.
That's a bad picture. Go back. Go to her Instagram where she has a bunch of makeup on. What the hell?
Her Instagram.
Not when she's in war paint.
Also, Meryl Streep. If we can break down the
Vaseline,
numbers real
no.
quick in UFC, which
The
you
most beautiful woman in the world?
yes.
No, the Jesus.
UFC, the sport that Meryl Streep ostracized at the Golden Globe Awards when she was talking about immigration and it's all being, together. And if we got rid of all the immigrants in Hollywood, then we wouldn't have anything to watch, right? Because she pointed out, she made sure she singled out the immigrants in the audience. If we look at the UFC, we look at the top fighters in the UFC, 42.7% of the UFC top fighters are not American. Not to mention the 11 champions in the UFC. If you remove the ones that are not American, you're left with 6. 6 champions. So you get rid of 5, you got 6 left, right?
This would have been a lot better when you
Back
had
then-
What's Joey talking about?
I'm still looking at those pictures. Thank you, Brandon.
America the Beautiful.
slow clap for it. Slow clap. Come on.
All right, Rich Treas, thank you so much for coming in tonight. Your cruiserweight champion of Cagebound Fighting Championships. And from the Rula Family Inc. Studios, big thanks to StrongBoardBalance.com and, of course, MyMMAnews.com. Make sure you check them out as well. It is Bueller and Dodge saying have a good night. We'll see you at the fights.